It's time for the moment you've been waiting for.
Hello, guys, gals, non-binary pals. Welcome back to Nerdsplosion 2025.
Hey.
After a 2-week break, we are back doing this bullshit again.
And what a break it was.
We took a 2-week break to focus on the holidays and just spend time with family, friends, and just, have some time to relax and get adjusted to the new year. And what a year it's been so far. Like, seriously, I feel like that Bob's Burgers memes where it's just like, it's been a long year already. It's only the first week of January.
Yeah. Correct.
But, anyway, I figured we would kind of ease into the new year with spending the rest of January doing our good old faithful go-to for when we literally have nothing else planned, Reddit.
Yay!
And today we are going to read through some posts on r/Am I the Asshole, which is, always a classic. But before we get into that, as always, new episodes of this podcast come out every Saturday, like usual. So, with that being said, let's start off 2025 by getting into some Reddit with Am I the Asshole?
And judging people on the internet.
Yes. Alright, so I don't know what stories you got, but I just clicked on the first one that popped up in my feed.
Oh, I gave up looking. I was just going to listen.
Oh, okay. So it's up to me to find all the stories this episode?
Yeah.
Before we get started, I don't know if you guys are going to notice a difference in sound quality, but I got a new microphone. So...
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was a Christmas present from my lovely wife over here. It is a Blue Yeti Nano, which I'm already liking because it has two modes, whether I can record everything around it or immediately what's in front of it. So, if there's a difference in quality, I hope there's a difference in quality. I hope it sounds a little better. But anyway, let's get into this Reddit business, shall we? Am I the asshole for honking at a guy trying to give money to a homeless man while the left arrow was green? We're in our cars in a left-hand turn lane and the light turns green. This light is notoriously of a pretty short duration and you kind of need to step on it to get the full lane through before it turns red again. As the lane begins to pull forward on green, the car in front of me comes to a complete stop and waves a bill out the window toward a homeless man sitting down. The man very slowly proceeds to get up and get it. As the light is about to turn red, I honk out of frustration, and the driver flips me off and tries to ride up next to me. Nothing came of the event, we both drove away. Am I the asshole for honking at the guy for impeding traffic, even though it was for the sake of giving to the alleged homeless man? I like that they say alleged. Homeless man. Because that's what they do. I'm not doubting there are people out there that genuinely need help, but also there are people that will see homeless people and think, oh, if I pretend to do this, I can scam people out of money. So it's kind of a weird thing of it's kind of sad because most people will see a homeless person and be like, do they actually need help or are they faking it just to get money from people?
Right.
But I would say in this situation, no, definitely not the asshole. I mean, yeah, if you want to give money to somebody, that's fine. But don't do it at the inconvenience of literally everyone else.
Right, or pull your car off to the side of the road or something.
Don't impede exactly.
Traffic.
Don't impede traffic, especially when the light turns green. Just, come back around. If you're going to do that, just come back around. Right. Don't literally hold up everyone else. Especially if everyone's already going and you completely stop. Or even better, and this might be a dick move, just, get the homeless person's attention and just be like, hey, $1, and just chuck it at them.
Well, I
Or you had that whole time you were stopped there.
Chuck $1, it'll blow away in the wind.
That's why you crumple it up into a ball and just throw it.
So let me get this straight. Your solution is to crumple up a $1 bill and
it's still worth
out
$1.
the window at a person who may or may not be homeless.
It's still worth $1.
Like a drive-by? A drive-by
Drive-by charity.
Anyway, no, you're not the asshole, OP.
Yeah, I would definitely say you're not the asshole. All right, next story. Am I the asshole for telling my brother I'm not babysitting his kids anymore after they ruined my New Year's plans? Whenever my brother, 27 male, needs help, I take care of his 2 kids, 4 female and 6 male, so a 4-year-old girl and a 6-year-old boy. Even though I love my niece and nephew, New Year's Eve was the last blow for me. My brother and his wife asked me to watch their kids while they went to a fancy New Year's party. Friends begged me to go with them, even though I already had plans with other people. They said they couldn't find anyone else. There was even an offer to pay me twice what I normally get, so I reluctantly agreed. They were supposed to come back at 1 a.m., so I could still hang out with my friends late at night. However, they did not show up at midnight. I texted, called, and even tried calling the party location, but no one answered. They finally got in around 4 a.m., and it was clear they were drunk. It was clear they were drunk. They pretended it wasn't a big deal. My brother laughed when I told him how upset I was that they had left me all night and said, "You didn't have anything important going on anyway." That hurt a lot. I told them they could no longer have me watch if they couldn't respect my plans or time. It's making my brother mad, and he says I'm being too tough. Am I the asshole because she wouldn't watch after this? Okay, I don't know if that's how they meant to rephrase that, but I'm assuming they're asking if they're the asshole for saying they're not going to watch their kids after this.
No.
Yeah, I would say not at all, because you had already made plans, and you made it clear that you had plans, and your brother and his wife did not respect those plans.
Listen, what I'm about to say, please know that I am going to say with my full chest. Okay? I would commit war crimes for each and every single one of our nephews.
Mm-hmm.
But if your sister and brother-in-law pulled some shit like that, I'm going to jail.
Well, yeah, because it's like,
first of all, the fact that you're like, oh, well, you didn't have anything important going on anyway. It doesn't matter what I may or may not have going on in my life. The fact of the matter is you don't respect my time and you just expect me to take care of your kids so you can go out and get shit-faced.
well, and that's the thing. I think because they said that, OP made his plans pretty clear to them, and they respond with, you had nothing important going on. So immediately that tells me that they thought whatever he had going on was, not as important as watching their kids, which I get. You want to make sure your kids are with somebody safe.
Right.
But also, if, you gotta respect somebody else's time and plans too.
Not only that, but it doesn't sound like the brother respects OP at all, period.
And, it also could be a thing. Now, to play devil's advocate, he did say that they came home drunk at 4 a.m., so they're probably drinking for a while, so I get, drinking kind of makes you forget about that kind of stuff, but that's also on them, too. They chose to do that.
Yeah. They sure did.
So I would definitely say OP is not the asshole here. I mean, if you don't want to watch your niece and nephew, then don't watch your niece and nephew. That's, just how it's going to be. That's your right to do that. All right. Next story. Am I the asshole for refusing to compromise on the heating with my housemate anymore? I, 24 female, share a flat with a housemate, 28 female, and I feel like I've been constantly compromising and accommodating her needs at the expense of my own boundaries. Recently, we've been discussing about the heating, and I'm at my wit's end. She insists on setting the thermostat to 21 degrees Celsius. So I'm guessing they're not in America, because they go Celsius instead of Fahrenheit.
Sure.
Which makes the flat unbearably hot for me. I've told her that I prefer 16 to 17 degrees Celsius, because I feel physically sick when it's too warm, but I suggested 18 to 19 degrees Celsius as a compromise. That's still within the safe zone for indoor temperatures, but she outright refused. She even sent me a screenshot claiming 21 degrees Celsius is the UK standard, but ignored that it also said 16 degrees Celsius is fine. What makes this even more upsetting is how she always uses her autism as an excuse to guilt trip me and get her way. She often brings it up when I disagree with her, implying that I'm being unfair or insensitive for not fully accommodating her needs. For instance, when I told her I found it invasive and disrespectful that she went into my room without permission to check my radiator instead of acknowledging my feelings, she said she felt attacked and vulnerable. It's like every time I try to express my side, she flips a narrative to make me feel guilty. It's not that I don't agree with her on some points, it's her constant bad attitude and the way she uses her autism to justify being rude and dismissive that really upsets me. For example, when I accidentally tore the shower curtain, which was already old and falling apart, I explained what happened, apologized, and said I thought it was still usable because the hole was small and near the top. Her response, no, please get a new one ASAP. The tone felt dismissive and controlling, like she wasn't interested in any discussion, just getting her way. There have been smaller incidents too. Early on, she insisted to leave the oven on standby because her dad, an electrician, said it was fine. She also suggested a cleaning schedule, but rarely sticks to it herself recently. I've been the one cleaning the stove most of the time, even though it's supposed to be shared. I don't usually work from home, so I'm not even benefiting from the heating during the day. I've also told her I'll be away for a month soon, but will still have to pay half the heating bill during that time. Despite all this, she refuses to compromise and expects the temperature to stay at 21 degrees Celsius, dismissing how it makes me feel. I've made a lot of effort to be understanding and accommodating, but I've reached my limit. I know autism comes with challenges, and I've always tried to be patient, but I also believe it's not an excuse to constantly dismiss someone else's feelings or boundaries. I was open to slightly raising the thermostat on colder days, but her attitude throughout this whole situation makes me not want to budge anymore.
Well, first of all, no, I don't think OP's the asshole.
And I like somebody in the comments here clarifies that, like, when they talk about Celsius, you know, for Americans that might not understand it. Mm-hmm. So the roommate wants the house at about 69 degrees Fahrenheit, but OP wants it at 60. So yeah, Celsius to Fahrenheit is basically the roommate wants 69, or like 69, 70, and OP wants it around like 60. See, now, someone like me personally, I like it a little on the colder side. Like, not like super cold, but if I could have my house at like a specific temperature, I would go around like anywhere 65 to 67.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's comfortable. That's not too cold, but it's also not like super warm either.
See, and I like to... Did you pick up that neck crack?
I probably did.
I like it. I prefer it colder. I would even say I would prefer it between 62 and 65. Mm-hmm. But if you've had discussions with your roommate about the temperature and you've like come up with an agreement, like with the cleaning and everything, like that should be respected.
Well, yeah, because if you're going to live in the same space as someone, you need to come to an understanding about certain stuff. And if neither of you are going to budge about anything, then something needs to change.
Like, not
or somebody needs to get out.
Like, not everybody can be like you, where you're like, I don't care, do what you want.
Yeah, aren't you lucky you married me? I'm pretty low maintenance.
Because our apartment is definitely me-coded.
Mm-hmm. I'm very low maintenance. I'm just like, hey, as long as I have a space for some of my stuff, I don't care.
Yeah, like I've even had like some of my friends on Snapchat ask me, do you share a room with your husband? Because like the backdrop of your room just looks very girly. And I'm like, oh no, it is. And yes, I do.
Like literally in our living room, that's the word I'm looking for. In our living room, like the only space around here that is just me is the shelf full of pop figures.
Yeah, because everything else in here is me. And the twinkling fairy lights behind our bed, which is why most people wonder if we sleep in the same room.
So what did you think of this?
Not the asshole.
Not the asshole?
I think the roommate needs to pull their head out of their ass.
Well, let's see if you change your mind because there's an update.
Is this going to make me the asshole?
I don't know. I haven't fully read through it yet, but
Okay.
let's see.
Hit me.
Update. You all really need to read better.
Oh.
All of you are saying I'm not willing to compromise and crazy at 16 degrees. But I say I'm okay with 19 degrees and open for discussion. But she was being mean and dismissed my feelings instead of trying to guilt trip me and using her autism as an excuse to be rude. Also forgot to mention that when it's set at 19, my room goes to 21 and 23. And when it's at 21, it can reach 25 to 27. And I feel really sick at this temperature. Also, I like they clarify for Americans because obviously this is in the
Celsius,
UK.
yeah.
Also for the Americans, UK houses, flats, are small and insulated, so when it's at 67, my room temperature can go up to 69, between 69 and 73.
That was too goddamn hot.
And when it's at 69, room temperature goes up to 77, 80. Oh yeah, fuck that.
That's too
I
goddamn hot.
I would be constantly furious if my room was constantly 80 degrees.
Yeah, no, I'm still on OP's side.
As for the shower curtain, I want to clarify that it was broken and old before I moved in. She was living there before I moved in. So it was bound for anyone to break it even further. I was just the unlucky one, but to be fair, I didn't argue with her and replaced it immediately as it was only a few pounds. But her attitude when she brought up the issue is really upsetting, as this is her word-to-word response when I say I think it's still usable. She says, "No, please get a new one ASAP."
If it was already kind of old and gross before you moved in, that sounds like an issue, not an me.
Exactly. Like, why wouldn't you think to replace that? I just
we
I don't
can't
get it.
we can't really relate because we moved into an apartment together separately. Like, neither one of us lived in an apartment before we started living together.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel like if that were the case, like, if I were to have moved into your apartment, for example, and you had, like, an old crusty bath shower curtain, if you told me to get you a new one, I'd be like, fuck you. This was here before I was.
Whereas with me, you would say something, and I'd probably be like, "Well, it's still usable," and then the next day be like, "Yeah, it's kind of old." I'd be like, "Yeah, maybe I should replace that."
Yeah, because you're a fucking pack rat who can't throw anything away.
Hey, it's called being money savvy.
It's not money savvy if
You
it's
should
old
try
and
it
broke
sometime.
junk around the house.
There is another update. Second and final update.
Delightful.
Thank you for everyone's honest response. I know I'm not the perfect person here, but I've been letting her overstep my boundaries over and over, and I always tell myself in my head that because she is autistic, I should be more understanding without realizing that she was being rude, not autistic. I realized I defended her in my head because she keeps bringing it out as a reason on why she does that and why her mind thinks that initially when I moved in. So I feel really scared to hurt her feelings. To the point where every time she sends me a text, I start to panic and think, what did I do wrong this time? What did I do to make her unhappy? So I finally decided to stand up for myself this time. That said, I am willing to compromise further to her desired temperature for colder days, in the condition that she needs to respect my boundaries and feelings. See, there you go.
That's fair.
I mean, yeah, you can both. I mean, the whole thing with the thermostat, like, it doesn't have to be set at a specific temperature, throughout the whole year. It's meant to go up and down depending on time of year.
Right. Unlike the crap hole we live in.
Yeah, unless you have an apartment like ours where it literally is just kind of does its own thing.
72 all year long, except in the summer when it's 85 degrees in this bitch.
Which is weird because you would think us being on the bottom floor it wouldn't be so hot. Because, heat rises and stuff, but my God.
Yeah, it gets hot up in here.
Like, constantly have to have a window open. Also, I want to bring up the thing of, the whole autistic thing. As somebody who is on the spectrum. You know, if somebody is constantly bringing up the fact that they're autistic, odds are either A, they're not autistic, or B, they think that if they say that, they can use it as an excuse for
There's a
literally
difference
anything they do.
between being autistic and not understanding social norms and being a fucking asshole.
Exactly, yeah.
And it sounds like OP's roommate is just being a fucking asshole.
Like, you can't use autism as an excuse to be a douche.
No. Just like you can't use your zodiac sign as an excuse to be a shitty person.
Spoken like a two-faced fucking Gemini.
I'm a Leo, actually. Put some respect on my name.
Alright, let's do one last one. And from just skimming the comments, apparently this is a wholesome one, so get your tissues ready. Would I be the asshole for approaching my husband about his secret? I, 38 female, found out something about my husband, 41 male, I don't think he ever wanted anyone to know. I came home
It said Rutro Reggie.
I came home unexpectedly after leaving in the morning. Walking inside, I heard muffled music. Getting closer to our bedroom, I heard him in the shower singing along to something we'd never listened to before, and I was blown away. Because they literally typed it out, and ... I was blown away. A little background. My husband is quiet and reserved. He's very stoic and just doesn't like small talk, huge crowds, hates being the center of attention, etc. He also has a very unique voice. He's slim. He's slim, but his voice is deep and even keel. There's been times we've been at karaoke bars and people have prodded him about getting up there, and he always says something like, "You've heard me talk, what makes you think I can do that?" Or, "Do you really want this place to clear out?" Hey, that sounds like me.
I write this?
He's like, did I write this? In the shower, he wasn't belting out, but he was singing along, and he was good. Really good. I was shocked and frozen for a bit, but then turned and left. Got in my car, drove down the street, and texted him that I'd be home in a bit. A couple minutes later, he replied, and I sat there for a bit wondering how I could possibly bring it up. I went in, and it was like any other day. He was in our room, hair still wet, Bluetooth speaker right back on the dresser where it always was. I didn't bring it up. For the next few days, it's all I could think about. I'm not proud of this, but when he was out shoveling and salting the driveway, I took his phone and went into his Spotify. He had to have had something in there, and lo and behold, at the bottom of his usual playlist, there was one titled Random. I opened it, and there it was. All artists he never listened to with or around me. Some Bruno Mars, Shawn Mendes, Michael Bublé, James Arthur, Lucas Graham, some much older stuff like the Four Tops, Stevie Wonder, and Dion. And then I saw it.
That's a stellar playlist.
And then I saw it. Die a Happy Man by Thomas Rhett.
Aww.
Something I forgot to mention earlier. My husband hates country music. He never complains when others are playing it, but if anyone asks him what he wants to listen to, he says anything but country. Says he hates the twininess of it and thinks all the artists are poser cowboys.
Okay, well, I have some opinions about that.
This one might get you. This sentence might get you. Die a Happy Man is my song. I don't listen to it around him because he hates country, but it's my favorite. Years ago when we were dating, I remember he talked about our favorite songs. He mentioned a few, and I said mine. It's the only time I've ever brought it up. He nodded and acknowledged, but said he wasn't a country fan and didn't know it. The fact that he remembered it, saved it, knows it, and even more than that, he may be able to sing it is burning me up. I want to hear... God damn it. Who's cutting onions in here? I want to hear him sing. I want to ask him so badly, but I'm afraid of how he may react. It's innocent, but it's still a breach of trust, and if he hasn't told me or any of his friends or family, then this is something he probably really wants to keep to himself forever. Would I be the asshole for trying to pry him open on this one? That's probably one of the more wholesome stories I've read in a while.
So, first of all, if it's not that, I don't want it.
Well, yeah, I mean, for Arson, I've already done Arson a couple of times, and given the opportunity, I would gladly sing it for you.
But, so here's
for
the thing.
context, our song is In Case You Didn't Know by Brett Young.
I was going to say, you better.
Why, I oughta.
If I ever see that cheeky motherfucker. Oh, God, I love that song. I cry every time it comes on my playlist.
What, our song or the song?
No, in case you didn't know. That's our wedding song.
Wow.
So no, I don't think she would be the asshole. I think it's kind of awkward to be like, hey, so I came home early and heard you singing and then panicked and ran away and then texted you that I was coming home. Like, that's a little awkward. But I think there's a way that you can approach it and just be like, so this thing happened and I can't get it off my mind. So I did look and I'm sorry about that. But like,
see, now I'm wondering if maybe he's learning and practicing this song for a reason. Like an anniversary thing or something. So I wouldn't say OP would be the asshole for trying to pry it, but I would just suggest you don't.
Here's what you do. Okay, ready? You ready for this? When you hear him coming in, be in a room somewhere absentmindedly doing something and just singing that song to yourself and see how he reacts.
Because my thought process is, if he's practicing it and then he, performs it for you at some point, you can simply be like, I've heard you practicing this. I've heard you practice this before. They'd be like, the husband would be like, how long have you known? And you'd be like, yeah, I've known for a while.
Yeah, you could do that too.
So, like I said, again, you wouldn't be the asshole for trying to pry it open, but I would suggest you don't. Because, there's a good chance that this guy will be like, oh, well, I was doing this for you, and just be cool about it. But there's also a chance that if you try to, if you bring it up, then he might feel self-conscious about it and not want to do it.
Right.
So I would say don't, but I wouldn't say you'd be the asshole for it.
So is there an update to that, or?
You know what? I'm gonna dive a little. I do want to actually see if there is one. Okay, I gotta see the parrot comment to this because. Oh, okay. So even though this isn't a video podcast, I opened, I looked through their profile and looked at comments, and it started off with hubby builds and customizes his own rifles, and I was like, excuse me? But the OP is replying to a comment, and the original comment says, easy fix. Get some friends to stage a home invasion, have them tie you up and hold you at gunpoint, then they'll tell your husband to sing the song or they'll shoot you. Easy. Hide some cameras and post it to the internet. Once he's done singing, just have everyone yell surprise and throw confetti. Yeah, I don't know how well that would work out. No. So OP responds to that with, hubby builds and customizes his own rifles. That plan would begin and end with me having some friends with new holes in them, and the confetti would only make it extremely awkward.
The confetti would only make it extremely awkward.
Like, OP was basically like, yeah, if we went with that plan, people would be dead. Yeah. But no, I would definitely say, just don't bring it up. Just let it do it naturally. I would imagine the husband has a plan here, so just see where it goes.
That was really sweet and wholesome.
Yeah, that was really wholesome. I really liked
cute.
that. Like, I actually started tearing up at that.
Yeah, because you're a big old squish.
Shut up. No, I'm not. Shut up.
Jimmy.
But, yeah, I guess that's all we wanted to go through today. I don't know what Reddit will do next, but you know what? We'll figure that out when the time comes.
For funsies.
But how do you feel? How do you feel about this new episode going into 2025?
About the episode? Pretty good. About going into 2025?
Just 2025 as a whole, just...
Honestly, the next 4 years, I'm just going to kind of vibe.
I saw a TikTok that was basically be like, alright, as we get into 2025, nobody touch anything. Whatever you found, put it back.
Correct.
Just like, alright, new year, nobody fucking touch anything.
We're gonna go in, real quiet and real respectful. Don't touch nothing. If you found something, put it back. Don't bring nothing home. Don't take anything out of the woods. And we'll be alright.
Alright, well, with that being said, that concludes the first episode of 2025 for Nerd Explosion. Plenty more to come. More awkwardness, more nerdiness, more, just everything.
Somewhere, in fact, in the neighborhood of 51 more episodes.
Sure.
Well, we do one a week, right? It's 52 weeks in a year.
I ain't a good mather. Anyway, drink your water, do positive dates out there. I've been Cameron.
I've been Kate.
And as always, we'll see you in the next one. Nerds out.